light, green light. Show them what you got.
Hello, good evening and welcome race clubbers to round 3 of season 6 at Brands Hatch in the southeast of England. A fantastic undulating track, doesn't have the greatest overtaking opportunities, so drivers will probably be more relying on getting firstly a good qualifying position and also hoping other drivers will make a mistake. We've got 3 races for you tonight. They're all the same length, they're all 20-minute sprints, so it means the drivers have a problem. Obviously they can get out there in another race, and the way the scoring system works, drivers only count the best 2 scores of the evening, which is great news. Well, that's not great news there for Bazux, as he's using the barrier there to get between Sheen and Sterling's. So he may have to go back to the pits for repair. One of the problems the guys have got is it's only a very short 8-minute qualifying, so there isn't much time if you make a mistake to go and have another bite at it. And Bazux at that point is deciding to stay out. So let's have a look who we think might be working their way to the front. Well, one person who is working his way to the front is currently on pole is Bamp, so he's the first of the drivers to put a lap time in. Who else have we got? Looks like we've got Marge coming to the line. They had a really good run out last time at Bathurst. Currently he reckoned he wasn't going to be on the pace tonight, and he does look a little bit off it there at the moment, nearly 2 seconds off Anun, who's just put in a 1:25.5. So who else have we got coming to the line? 29, I think that was. Or was that Dazza going? Dazza 456, new driver to the series. And it looks like Marge is pulling across there and letting the Lexus of Anun go past. And we're down below 125. Chicapaxo were 1:24.9 in the Audi. So this week it seems to be Audis are bunching their way up at the front at the moment. Last week at Bathurst, bear in mind it was a GT4 race, it was the Mercedes that was elbowing their way to the front, and really you needed to be in the 3-pointed star if you were going to get anywhere last week. Now who else? DB Kung just popping in there with about 1:25.5. That pace of Chicapaxos is quite impressive there. Crombo Zoe is put in a time. but he's a little bit off the pace there at the moment. I'd imagine when the cameraman wakes up and stops looking at the game, that's because Crumbly Zoe was returning to the pit, so not going to get any quicker there. Randy Flanspanch in the Porsche, just heading out of Stirling's down towards the finish line with just 1 minute 40 to go. He may get across the line in time to do maybe even another 2 laps, so he needs to get there in about the next sort of 6 or 7 seconds, which I think he's going to do. When he crosses the line and gets in on about a 1:28 there, so he's crossed the line, so he's got a chance to put in a quicker time there. So Crumbo Zoe has gone out. I think she might struggle to get round in time. She's going to need to go absolutely flat out on this out lap to get across the line before the time runs out. So hopefully she can get round and do that. Let's have a look at the front. Oh, and look at this, Rusty GT up there in the Ferrari, just punched his way up into second place. Just look at those times for second, third, fourth and fifth. There is, what's that? Oh, well, in the second, third and fourth, that's 6 1,000s. Oh, and just as I say that, up into second pops Banff, who we saw having that little rattle along the barrier, only 18 100s off of Chicken Paxo's time there. Sorry, 18 1,000s. I was getting my decimal points in the wrong place, and that's going to be the end of that for Banff, I think, because he's gone outside track limits there. Drivers starting to pull into the pits as they're completing their laps. Let's see how Crumbo Zoe's getting. Oh, that was scary. I even winced at that because I could see the car coming straight for me. Can she make it? 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, Zoe. Oh, didn't quite make it, I'm afraid. So that's it for Crumbo Zoe. She's crossed the line. Who have we got that's likely to do something? We've got Chris V. Dubb in the teammate to Randy Flangepants coming across the line there. Not improving on his 9th position. Who else have we got out there at the moment? Somebody's just gone wide there and gone back to the pits. I think that was Banff having another moment there. Who else have we got out there at the moment? We have got driver's number that I don't recognise. I think that can't be Rusty GT because he's crossed the line, but we've got a driver coming down towards the end of the lap, and I'm just, oh, that must be Dazza. Dazza was a bit, new driver series was a bit further up the grid earlier and punches his way up to 7th place, just 1.1 off pole. So fantastic debut there for the Audi driver. Really impressive to see that. Who else? We've got a little bunch coming to the line now, but it looks like nobody is jumping up the charts at the moment. And I think, apart from Randy Flangepants, who did get round quick enough to get another lap in. So can he do anything? He's currently 13th, and he remains 13th at the moment. So that was a fairly quick fire qualifying session for us there. So on the front row we have Chicken Paxo and Banff, and then in 3rd and 4th is Rusty GT with Donardi, and then I'm just going to select driver at the front before we go to the grid view. And then in 5th and 6th we have Anun, the very quick driver in my favourite car, the Lexus, just 3 1,000ths ahead of DB Kung in the Ferrari just behind. And then Dazza, our new driver there in 7th, alongside him is Bazux in 8th. And then Groot, who I think had a little bit of a not the greatest round at Bathurst last week in the GT4s, but he's done well there, well in the top 10 there in 9th. Chris V. Dubb, the man with the hand controller, he's there in 10th in the Porsche. Row 6, you got Photo Pig and Marge side by side there in the Mercedes and the Ferrari respectively. And then on the final row we have got Randy Flangepants and Crumbo Zoe. Now I think Crumbo Zoe's time is not really representative of where she will be. I just think it's down to the fact she didn't get a clear lap in during that qualifying. So here we go, onto the grid. So we have got 20 minutes of this 2.6 mile circuit. Should be some really tight racing up the front, looking at those qualifying times. Obviously Chicken Paxo and Banff were very close, and then that pack from sort of third down to 6th or 7th were really tight as well. So as we promised you with Race Club, the racing is usually pretty tight, compact and competitive, but importantly clean. Now, I can see we've got a few of you already watching on YouTube, which is fantastic to see. I hope you click that like and subscribe button, because that really does mean a lot to us. But also, please get involved. Who do you think can win the race? Yeah, Chicken Paxo's on pole. Is he going to clear off and do that? Or is one of the guys just behind him going to have quicker race pace, do we
30
think?
seconds.
And Nun is one driver. There you can see the Lexus on your screen there, who is often out front. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see him coming forward through the pack. One of the biggest problems with the circuit, because it's more of an old school circuit, it's not got those, what I'd almost describe as fabricated long straights with a sharp bend at the end. This has got sort of standard curves throughout the circuit. Now, what that means is there's not really much chance to overtake on a braking manoeuvre. You've got to rely on the driver in front of you, as the drivers do start pulling away on their warm-up lap. We will have a rolling start when they come round to the grid. But as I was saying, there's nowhere particularly obvious on this track to go for an overtaking manoeuvre. You can try it into the first corner, which is Paddock Hill Bend, but you need to be, right alongside as you turn into that. You could do a hunt against Lauder into Druids, which is the corner they've just gone round, and the next point really is really set from the next left-hander that they're going to come up to now, which is Surtees. Now it relies on, if you want to make the overtake, the driver in front of you may be just making a little mistake, because your line into this corner here, or sorry, more importantly, the line on the exit, controls your speed all the way along the straight here and down Pilgrim's Drop. And then, because Hawthorns is really about a third gear corner, the corner you can see just at the top of your screen there, that is not an easy one to do an overtake on. It's not impossible, but if you've got a good exit from Surtees, the previous left-hander, there is a chance you can get alongside. And then we're working our way round to, probably from a technical point of view, one of the trickiest corners on the circuit, which is Sheen, which is the right-hander they are coming up to now, because you effectively turn in blind. You can't see the apex. You just have to rely on, you've got your turning point correct. And you can take a big bite out of that inside curb there. But the penalty you can get there, if you run wide on the exit, quite often it spins you around and fires you on to the grass on the outside and into the wall. So we're working our way towards the grid here. Drivers are getting lined up side by side. They'll have an indicator on their screen to make sure they keep in the right position, and they need to keep under 70 kilometers an hour. And then we just need to wait for the green lights. So here we go. Race 1 of 3 tonight. This is Season 6, Round 3 Race Club, sponsored by Lovely Stickers. We're just waiting for that green light, and we are...
Green light, go, go, go.
We're go, go, go. And I see a Nun already pulling out in the Lexus there, but got it a little bit wrong and onto the grass, so lost positions there. And Chicken Paxo managed to hold off Banff into the first corner, and looking behind, it looks like everybody's got away cleanly, which is fantastic to see. And we go round Druids, and that looked like Rusty GT holding off Donardi there. Donardi looking quite racy, who is Donardi being the teammate for Chicken Paxo. But Donardi is a little bit out of position there. Normally you'd expect him to be a little bit further up on qualifying, but he's still obviously fourth there, but he's trying to work hard on Rusty GT there in the Ferrari. So here we go. This is the first opportunity I was talking about as they head down Pilgrim's Drop towards Hawthorns, but the Audi of Donati is just not close enough to that Ferrari in front of him. So the front two definitely making a break there, but it's looking very busy here in the sort of third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh battle as well. You can see the cars streaming through at the bottom of your screen there. I think the first move is likely to come either from Donati on Rusty GT, or the other one I can see possibly doing something is a Nun, who dropped a couple of spots there, but he's under pressure there from Chris V Dub as well. So look at this, they flash past as they go into clearways for the first time. So the complete lap one. So we've got around about a 1 minute 30 second lap time here. So that is going to mean, in my rough arithmetic, we're going to have about 13 laps. So was that, who was that in the background looking a little bit racy there? I can't see who that was. We'll just pop that back up to the front, because the leading two, Chicken Paxo and Banff, have really made a sharp exit here. So these two are clear. Now, whether Banff is just waiting for his moment to have a go or not, I'm not sure, but time will tell as the race goes on. Somebody's dropped off the back of the pack there. I think that is Zoe. So it looks like she's had a little bit of an adventure somewhere. And possibly Marge has as well. He's down in 13th. Randy Flangepants has got it up to 12th. So here we go. This is still the battle for third. So in the grey Ferraris, Rusty GT, followed closely by Donati in the green Audi, and then there's Bazux just behind in the other Golf Ferrari. Now that there does seem to have been a little bit of a gap open up between Bazux in 5th and Groot in 6th, so I don't know if somebody's had a little bit of a problem there. It might be Chris V Dub, because he's dropped down, I think, to 10th, because he was on the back of a Nun earlier. So looks like a couple of people may have had very small adventures there, but we'll pop back. Where should we pop back? We'll pop back to Donati, see how he's getting on hounding Rusty GT. And it's just, as I was saying earlier, it's so difficult to overtake on this track. I do like this track. It's a great traditional one, but it does have the problem that it doesn't have any easy overtakes. So it's a case of pressurising the driver in front of you and hoping they make a mistake. So Bazux in the gold Ferrari there, currently in 5th place, is sitting there waiting neatly behind Donati, waiting for his opportunity. Also looking up front, it looks like Banff may have made a little bit of a mistake, because he's dropped in 2nd place, about a second and a half off Chicken Paxo in the lead. So that's given Chicken Paxo some definite breathing space there. But it's great to see, looking down from Groot, who does seem to be dropping away from this battle for third, and it looks like a Nun. Oh, Nun coming out wide there. Has he got a manoeuvre? He's going down the clearways. He's on the wrong side, but he's late on the brakes, and he's got it done round the outside in the Lexus. So that's a Nun up to 6th and Groot down to 7th. So a Nun, I imagine, will now be keen to get after Bazux in 5th, but he's now 3.5 seconds up the road. So being behind the Groot there for a while has cost a Nun quite a bit of time there, and it looks like Groot is coming back. That was a bit of a late lunge there at Druids. He got the car alongside, but he couldn't get it stopped. So Nun just let him go and then slipped back through and took the 6th position back. So I think that's now given Nun quite a bit of breathing space there. So let's have a look back up the front. So this is Donati still on the back of Rusty GT. I think this battle is probably going to go race long. Bazux there starting to look a little impatient. His rear view mirror in that Golf Ferrari will soon be filled with a Nun's Lexus, I believe, because these three will be holding each other up. But this is a fantastic battle. Oh, Donardi having a bit of a look for the inside there at Sterlings. That's a bit of a brave move there if he could pull that one off, but it's compromised his exit. And now Bazix is looking hungry down the inside at Clearways, but decides better off it. So here we go, coming around the complete lap 3. So Bazix looking to the outside of Donardi towards Paddock Hill Bend. That's brave if he can do it. No, he's had to back out of it. That was been an awfully long way round, but he's on the switchback to try and get him up to Druids. Bazix sticks his nose out, but can't get alongside into Druids. So this is one of the tightest battles on the field at the moment. I'm looking, there is still a tight battle down in 7th, 8th and 9th between Group Dazza and DB Kung. Danger is obviously when I look away, positions seem to change. So we'll stick with this battle for a little while yet. Who else is there's also battles further down the field, so I'm going to give everybody their fair chunk of airtime. So let's go back and oh, here we go. And this is a battle between Group and Dazza, our new driver, and the bridge has got in the way there. Oh, and it looks like someone gone off there. See, the Ferrari there, that was DB Kung, I believe, is on the grass, and then there was a coming together there, I think, between Chris V Dub and maybe Photo Pig. Oh, and who was the Ferrari? Is that DB Kung again? No, DB Kung's up and running again, but he's on the back of that little pack now of Group and Dazza. No, that's not Group and Dazza, because that's a Mercedes in front of him. So I think that's Photo Pig possibly who has jumped up there. Yes, that is. So DB Kung has lost quite a few spaces there. So as they come across the line, we'll get the order rejigged for you. So Chris V Dub is up into 9th. Randy Flangepants in 10th. So, and Photo Pig is there in 11th. So DB Kung with quite a lot of work to do there again. So let's just have a hop back to the... Oh, I shouldn't have gone away from that because the battle was re-engaging there. Let's go back. So we've got the two Porsches there in 9th and 10th. So they're a bit fairly line astern at the moment, but it looks like the background there. Oh, that is Photo Pig and DB Kung having a little bit of a battle there. DB Kung and the Ferrari trying to recover, trying to go down the inside of Hawthorne's there, but that's a big ask at that corner, so decides better off it. And then there's Marge just behind as well. So where is in all of this? Crumbo Zoe is a little bit behind at the moment. Yeah, possibly coming up to maybe be lapped in a few minutes time. So we have just clicked under 11.5 minutes to go. Let's hop our way back up the front to see where this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th is, and it is still on fire by the look of it. So Rusty GT there in the grey Ferrari still in 3rd, Donardi in the lime green Audi 4th, and Bazix in the gold Ferrari in 5th. So these guys are now 7 seconds ahead of a Nun, so I think that's going to be a big ask for a Nun now, because I think he was only about 3.5 seconds behind after he got past, I think it was Groot. And I noticed that Dazza has got past Groot as well, so he's up to 7th place, and that's Crumbo Zoe just moving over and letting the cars lap her and not to hold them up, which is exactly the right thing to do. So let's have a quick whiz back. So we've got DB Kung on the back of Randy Flangepants as they go down Pilgrim's Rock. DB Kung down the inside, it's a bit brave at Hawthorne's. And Randy Flangepants gives him space. Oh, and there's a little bit of an incident behind. I think that was Marge probably having a bit of a moment there. Yeah, and that's Marge in the barrier. Didn't look like too heavier impact, but I think him and Photo...
Mark, keep pushing.
I think him and Photo Pig were coming quite close together there, so I don't know whether they had contact. So we've now got Randy Flangepants with Photo Pig on his case. As they go down the clearways, it looks like Photo Pig's got the inside into clearways. So I don't know if Randy Flangepants is maybe carrying a little bit of damage there because he's been overtaken by 2 cars in 1 lap. But he's back in the slipstream there, a photo pick. Is he going to have a look into Paddock Hill? Did have half a look, but actually DB Kung, Photo Pig, I've gotten there, has outbraked himself and ended up into the gravel, so handed that place back to Randy Flangepants. So Photo Pig down to 12 and Randy Flangepants back up to 11. So let's see how this battle for third, 4th and 5th is getting on, because Chicken Paxo is way out in the lead by nearly 4 seconds from Banff, and Donardi's done it. Unseen by us, unless you saw it on the screen while I was checking timings, Rusty GT, I reckon, made a little mistake there, because both Donardi and Bazix have got by. We are just clicking down to 8 minutes 40 to go, so we are well over halfway now in this first of 3 races. So please, you guys that are watching, get involved, drop us a note on the comments on the YouTube stream. We'd love to see, love to hear from you as to what you think of the racing and who do you think is going to win. Oh no, Crumbo Zoe has picked up a 30-second penalty. I wonder if that was maybe for exceeding track limits too many times. So unfortunately that will be a little bit costly for Crumbo Zoe, and they'll have to serve that within 3 laps. So now that Donardi and Bazix have got by Rusty GT, interestingly they're not actually pulling away, so I think what we can see from that is that Rusty GT wasn't particularly holding them up. There is about 0.8 of a second back from Bazix to Rusty. Oh, and we've got somebody off at the hairpin. I think that might be Crumbo Zoe. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, just spinning her Mercedes round. So she's got going again, but unfortunately has got to serve that stop and go penalty. So let's see where else we've got battles. Well, we've got a battle here. We've got Dazza on the back of a Nun. So Dazza, as I mentioned earlier, our debut driver here. He is right on the back there of the blue and white Lexus of a Nun, one of our established drivers. As they go around Stirling's heading towards the final corner of Clearways. It does look like Dazza is looking for a way round, and it's just where can he do it? Where is that Audi better than the Lexus in front of him? Mind you, this is the battle for 6th. Anun is currently in 6th and Dazza is in 7th. Looks like Anun was being defensive there as they went down the main straight. But also looks like he took a fair chunk of curb there and maybe slowed himself up, but not enough that Dazza can take advantage. So just looking up front, it now does look like actually Donardi and Bazix are pulling away from Rusty GT. So they've got about 1.2 seconds on Rusty now, but Rusty is way in front of a Nun who we're watching at the moment, who is in 6th. So here we go. Heading down Pilgrim's Drop up towards Hawthorns again. Looks like Dazza is not quite all over the back of a Nun like he was a couple of minutes ago. So maybe a Nun has got back in that Scalextric type group, and that is Dazza running a little bit wide there on the exit of Westfield, which will have cost him a little bit of time. So while that one's running a little bit more spread there, I'll hop back to DB Kung, who we saw making that mistake earlier, but he's now trying to make his way back up the field, and he's on to Groot. Oh, and that looked like Groot maybe in the Audi there caught out DB Kung on the brakes there. I think he maybe braked a little bit earlier than DB Kung was expecting, so he had to take slightly evasive action there. So he's going to need a few corners to get back onto the rear bumper of that Audi in front of him of Groot's, which is gone wide there. And Groot has gone wide. Oh no! Gone wide, and then unfortunately DB Kung got the inside line there, was handed the position on the plate, and then dropped the plate by spinning his Ferrari on the exit of Druids. So he's got it to do all over again. So that was slightly painful there. Let's go back down to 11th and 12th place, we're looking at Photo Peak here, who I thought was catching Randy Flangepants, but it does look like he maybe has dropped back a little bit. I will keep an eye on that gap. So we'll move forward again to Dazza, who is still giving Anun quite a hard time. This battle does seem to ebb and flow a little bit. That I come and look at them at one point and they're quite close, and then it just eases out just a little bit. Bazux is still in 4th in the Ferrari. He is still giving Denardi in 3rd a hard time, so we will hop around between these battles. So here we go, into Paddock Hill again. 11 laps down. Leader is where Leader's there, so I imagine we're going to have 3 more laps, I think. No, I think we're going to have 2 more laps. So if Dazza wants to get this done and get that 6th place, he's going to need to get on with it. So we'll just hop around these battles, which are fairly close, because the other one that is close is Bazux here in that gold Ferrari, who is still giving Denardi a hard time, and coming back at them now in the latter part of the race is Rusty in the other Ferrari, because he had dropped away a little bit, but now he's got it back. Oh, hello, and Bazux has made a mistake there, I believe, unless I've got that wrong, because suddenly I've got 2 gold Ferraris I'm looking at. So, and they've suddenly all come together here, so this battle has suddenly got, no, actually, that's Denardi. So, it's Banff. So Banff has made a mistake in the latter part of the races. He was keeping Chicken Paxo honest and was really not under any pressure at all from Denardi in 3rd, and has suddenly got it horribly wrong, and now it's all happening again because Bazux has got in front of Denardi. So it looked like Denardi made a mistake coming out of the Exeter Druids, so it's all kicking off here with just over 2 minutes to go. So here we go, just review. So Bazux, who was 3rd, was 4th, with the dropping of Banff to 4th, he got up to 3rd. He's now past Denardi and he's up to 2nd. So Denardi is where he was before because Banff was in front of him and Bazux was behind him. I hope you're all keeping up with this. I will be asking questions in a minute. So Banff has dropped from 2nd to 4th, and Rusty, with all that chaos in front of him, is still 5th. And he's still got quite a gap on a none of 11 seconds. So I think we should stick with this battle because this seems to be where the action is, and we are coming up, I believe, to start our final lap, as just across the line there goes Chicken Paxo. So we are actually going to have 14 laps, not 13 laps, because they've obviously got to complete the last lap, and I didn't allow for that. So here we go, into Paddock Hill. Oh, and that looks like Bazux looking a bit deep there. It looks like he got away with it. And in the background, we've got Rusty going around the outside of Banff. So I think Banff must be carrying some kind of damage here. So Rusty can definitely smell the 4th place. He seems to have spent the whole of the second half of this race fighting the back of a gold Ferrari, and he's still at it now. So this is his... one of his last chances. Needs to get a good exit here from Surtees and see if he can do anything about that Ferrari in front of him as they go into Hawthorne that they're coming up to now. But unfortunately he's just not close enough, and he's running a touch wide on the exit there. I was a little bit wincing, but he got away with it. So just having a look to see where drivers are time-wise, and we, I believe, with 9 seconds to go, I think this is going to be the final lap. So we will pop back to our leader, who is Chicken Paxo, and the time has run out. He flashes his lights and he crosses the line, lights the flag there. Fantastic drive there by Chicken Paxo, and just coming up now, the recently promoted to 2nd place of Bazux, Denardi in 3rd, and then Banff in 4th, and then we've got Rusty GT in 5th. So that was a real cracking battle there. And the battle has gone right to the line here is for 6th and 7th. That's a Nun in the Lexus there. And just behind him, Dazza, our debut driver in the black Audi. So DB Kung recovered after that incident. He's got back up to 8th. So Groot, who made that mistake at Druids a couple laps ago, he holds on to 9th. Chris V Dub coming to the line in 10th in the Porsche. And then the other Porsche, Randy Flangepants, coming in at 11th. And he's managed to hold off Photo Pig to the end of the race. And then Marge, who we saw having that incident at the exit of Hawthorns, comes across the line in 13th. And Crumbo Zoe is just working her way round the back of the circuit to come home in 14th place. So it's great to see everybody that started will finish. Well, that was action-packed, wasn't it? That was absolutely lights to flag action. And that's what we promised you, and that's what we gave you. And the best thing is, that's only a third of the action that we've got tonight. So we've got 2 more of those coming up for you straight after this race, which will get wrapped up as Crumbo Zoe here just crosses the line to complete her race. Exit clearways. I love the way we call this the start-finish straight, but I don't think there's a straight bit on it. So there we go. So there we go. Chicken Paxo lights the flag victory there. Great driving by Chicken Paxo, who was followed closely by Bamp for quite a few laps, and then gradually eased the gap out, and I think it was around about 5 or 6 seconds. And then Bazix, who got promoted towards the end there as Bamp made the mistake, and Donardi also made a mistake at Druids there, so Bazix picked up 2 spots very quickly. Donardi there promoted a little bit from his qualifying position. I think he started in 4th. And then Bamp, who was cruising really for an easy 2nd place, and made that mistake, I think round about Stirling's, and dropped to 4th. Was coming under some serious pressure there from Rusty GT, but he managed to hold, Bamp managed to hold Rusty off to the end. And then we've got Anun in 6th, Dazza 7th, DB Kung recovered to 8th, Groot, I think we'll be pleased with a good result there in 9th, and then Chris V Dub and Randy Flangepants, 2 Porsches there in 10th and 11th, and then Photo Pig, who was having that battle with Randy Flangepants, but eventually lost out to him by 0.4 of a second. And then Marge, who we obviously saw have that incident, he came in 13th, and then Crumbo Zoe in 14th. But of course, we don't need to worry about the drivers not having a bad race, because if they do, they're able to drop that score at the end of the evening, which is what we like to see. So let's have a quick look where we're at. We're just waiting for this first race to wrap up. So if you just bear with me, I'm just going to go a little bit quiet for a few seconds until we get qualifying going, and there goes qualifying, so I won't go quiet. So sorry, it's only 7 minutes qualifying, so the drivers need to get out, get on with it, probably just get a banker in first, just in case they go over track limits and forfeit a lap time. Crumbo Zoe first out of the pits, didn't really get a representative time in on the first qualifying session, so I think we'll be trying to get a banker lap in early and try and get ourselves a little bit further up the grid. Oh, looks like she stopped there, maybe deciding to go back for a different setup, or maybe, oh yep, decided to go back for a different setup. So let's see who else we've got out there. Chris V Dub always gets a mention by the fact that he's actually working off mobile data in his truck cab, and also using a hand controller, not a full-blown rig, which is why you'll notice with his car, when you see the movements, they are a little bit more abrupt than what the drivers using the steering wheels are. So as you see, it's for the older readers amongst you, that turns it into like the edge of a threepenny bit. And that was a bit Tokyo Drift there as he came round Westfield for Chris V Dub. So all the drivers are out bar Photo Pig. and we've already had a minute and a half of qualifying, so there's not much time to get their act together and get on with it. So let's see what the drivers can do as they come round to start putting their qualifiers in. So here we go, first corner, Paddock Hill Bend just drops away. Another one that's quite tricky to see the apex as you turn in. Try and run as wide as you can on that curb on the exit. Now brake it hard at the bridge, try and turn it into a little bit of a V if you can. Looks like Chris Feedub went a little bit deep on the brakes there. So down the Graham Hill, take as much curb on the inside as you can, careful on the exit because you can get a track limits problem there. And then up to Surtees, again another one that's really difficult to see the apex. It's a really late apex in the corner, so you want to do that so you can get your foot on that throttle just that bit earlier. And then here we go, down Pilgrim's Drop where Johnny Herbert had his massive accident and nearly ended his career in when he was in Formula 3000. And we whip round Hawthorns, then to Westfield again. Oh, a bit of Tokyo drift there from Chris Feedub, but he keeps it all under control. And then up to the tricky Sheen corner, turning in blind, taking as much inside curb as you can. Looks like a bit of dust thrown up there. Has somebody gone off? No, doesn't look like it. And then into Stirling. So now the last blast down to Clearways, down to probably about third, trying to get on that throttle as early as you can. So Chris Feedub about to put in our first marker. Doesn't look like he's done anything bad with track limits, and he puts in a 1:27.4. Now I think pole is going to be somewhere down around about a 1:25. Bamps putting a 1:25.8. Dazzers on about a 1:26.2. Groups there on 1:26. Chicken Paxo 1:25.5. Now he did go sub 1:25 last time, and I did mention also that a driver that was a bit out of position last time was Donardi, and he's currently in second place, but on provisional pole at the moment is Bazert with a 1:25.008. So that's down around about the sort of time we were expecting to see. So it looks like possibly Crumbo Zoe's got a little bit of a problem because she is part there on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. Maybe she can't get the button to get herself back to the pit, so hopefully she'll get that sorted. So who else is on a lap? Looks like they're able to put one in. I think a Nun is coming up to the line. No, that must have been outside the track limit, so we've only got 2.5 minutes left, so they need to get on with it, those that haven't got a time in yet. And Randy Flamespants just popped in the time. He's only 0.1 off Chris Feedub. So I've just heard from Crumbo Zoe that her brake pedal has broken, so that's why she's had to pull off there. So that is really unfortunate for her there, but hopefully she might be able to work a fix, but she's stuck there on the exit of Graham Hill at the moment. So Chicken Paxo comes back at Bazert with a 1:24.8. So that puts him onto provisional pole. Bazert second. DB Kung didn't have the greatest first race, did DB Kung, in that Ferrari, but he's got himself up there on the second row of the grid, and the front row is now led by Bazert, who's just gone 1:24.6. So it's a real heavyweight punching match at the front there. So Donardi down in 5th at the moment. So he's a little bit out of position, I would say. They've probably got time for just about one more lap, because the time is clicked down to less than a lap time. So they're probably going to start their last laps now as they come across the line. So Groot has returned to the pit, so he's decided that's the best that he can do. So this is Donardi working his way. He's trying to get a little bit further up, taking a nice big chunk of curb there at Sheen, which is the way to do it. So heading down to Clearways under the bridge, hard on the brakes, down to second or third gear, run it wide on the exit, and then hug the wall as you go down the main straight. and Denardi gets up one position up to 4th, but it is so tight up the front there. After a quarter of a second covers the top 4. So the other one who I'm sure is going to be trying to do something is Chicken Paxo. He's out on his final lap at the moment. So who else is coming through? And none is somebody we know has generally got quite good pace on qualifying, so maybe the Lexus just doesn't suit this circuit. So out of clearways down the main straight, hugging the wall, currently 8th, and jumps to 6th. So he just pips Dazza there. So who else have we got? Got Marge coming up to the line. No, looks like he's more or less abandoned that lap. So who else is out there as well? Chris V Dub down in 13th at the moment. That's unusual to see. He's starting right at the back there. And unfortunately, we've lost, as we know, we've lost Crumbo Zoe because of a mechanical failure. So DB Kung, when the cameraman catches up through Sheen, but that's not at race pace. So the only one that is out there at race pace is Bazix coming up to the line, and he goes a little bit quicker, hangs on to pole position. So Bazix in first. Oh, and Rusty GT popped up there in third. I didn't see that one. So Rusty GT still honouring that pace that he had in the first race. So that's absolutely fantastic to see. So let's just see. I'll keep hoping we're going to get something happening in the chat. And at the moment, we still haven't. So we will have to, unfortunately, rely on my waffle rather than what is happening with anything in the chat. I'll be love to hear from anybody, whether it's racers or from general watchers. That would be really great to see. We had a fantastic chat last week with the at Bathurst. I think we had a close on 100 messages, and everybody's getting really involved. Somebody's got involved. Quick round of applause there. Where's that button? Someone's feeling sorry for me, which, you know, I do understand it. Oh, it's a nun in the Lexus has jumped in. He does listen to the stream while racing. I have to be a little bit careful because I nearly had an injunction against me earlier after a comment I'd made, but we think we got away with it. I mentioned it once, but I think I did get away with it. So Anun says he's struggling with a Lexus on this track, and Bazix is saying that he loved the comms and he is hoping for the same for race 2. I don't know if that's for the comms or the race. So Zoe is confirming that it was her brake pedal that has caused the problem. Let's just check on a couple of things. Excuse me, that's right. I'll test the COVID negative, you're safe. I'll just hold the speaker away, you'll be alright. So here we go, same format again, you know what it is. 20 minutes, no pit stops, lights to flag. We've got a slightly different setup on the grid this time, which is quite to see. What do I expect to see? Banff down in 8th. I hadn't noticed that one. Banff is out of position. So this short qualifying is sort of jiggling our grid up, which is what is great to see. And
20 seconds.
Also, Chris V Dub, I expect to move forward. He's down there in 13th at the moment. So
10 seconds.
I'm just trying to see who else is that. Denardi again. He's still sort of stuck there in 4th. He's behind Rusty GT again. So I'd imagine he's on not the ideal side of the track for Paddock Hill to out drag Rusty to the first corner. So being a right-hander and him being on the left-hand side of the track, he's going to have to try and go the long way round. So let's see. So everyone's away, trundling around the track. Just keep within their specified area, which will be shown to them on their screen. Yeah, very much it's the Ferrari Audi battle with Anun punching high for the Lexus. But really ignoring that Lexus and down to 10th place. Look at that, it's either a Ferrari or an Audi. Sadly the Porsches are bringing up the rear at the moment, but hopefully they can make their way forward. I say particularly drivers like Banff in the Ferrari down there is definitely out of position because he was second in qualifying on the first race and was holding second position quite happily until he made that mistake. So I expect to see him moving forward, but in these short races you've got a very limited amount of time to catch up. So from last time round, it seems to be working out 14 laps of this 2.6 mile circuit. Obviously everyone's got their sort out regarding things such as fuels, because that's a problem we've had in the past, that people haven't quite got the fuel right. Oh, hello, good evening and welcome, Stuart Packham. Great to see you there. I really wish I could get you on comms one night, because your, driving skill would be a great addition to any stream. But you always turn me down. But the first race you missed the belter, Stuart, absolute belter. There were battles all the way down, so we're hoping for the same again. So here we go, trundling out of clearways. They're all sitting now side by side, keeping it under that 70 kilometres an hour. You've got Bazix in the Gold Ferrari on Gold Ferrari on the pit wall side, and there is Chicapaxo on the outside. So into Paddock Hill, who's going to be brave? It could start to get a little bit feisty, because we are now
Green light, give it all you can.
We're go, and here we go, and it looks like Chicapaxo is not going to be able to make it round the outside of Bazix there. So Bazix got the lead, and it looked like Rusty GT was spinning out there in the background. So I don't know if he had a coming together there with Donardi, because they were the two that were close together, and Anun has got by DB Kung as well. So quite a few changes this time on the first lap, but everyone is away and good, looking at the tracker on the bottom right of your screen. So what I'm expecting to see this time, and it looks like Anun is up to fourth because of the Rusty GT incident. So the Chicapaxo there in the green and red Audi already looking quite racy behind Bazix, but Bazix has got track position, so he doesn't have to give it away. So the important thing he needs to do is just keep it there, keep putting it in the right position, and Chicapaxo will have a tough old time to get by him. Someone who's dropped off the back, who's that? Randy Flanchpants in the second Porsche, so, and Chris V Dub is up to 11th. So here we go, round a complete, lap one already. So this should be one of 14 by my rough estimates. So is Bazix going to go defensive? No, he's feeling confident. So he was fairly error-free last race. Oh, and talking error-free, that Chicapaxo looked to be a bit caught out that Bazix possibly broke a little earlier than expected, and he had to ease out the pedal and run it a bit deep in the corner. But oh no, it looks like Bazix made a mistake coming out of Graham Hill, and Chicapaxo is all over the back of Bazix as they go into Surtees, and that is bringing Donardi onto the back of Chicapaxo. Now they are teammates, so you hope they'll give each other plenty of space. But you can see fourth and fifth there, Anun and DB Kung, they're catching this leading pack as well. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all together. Fantastic stuff as they go through Westfield at the back of the circuit. and definitely Donati is approaching the rear of Chicken Paxo at a fairly rapid rate there. And he looks like he's going for the inside, Donati, into Sterling's, but that's a brave move to try and pull off there. But what that has done is brought Anun and DB Kung 4th and 5th right on the back of the two Audis, and Anun's looking down the inside of Donati as they go into clearways, and he's possibly got a run on him as they go down towards Paddock Hill. So Donati is a little bit beaten up there. Anun on the inside as they go into Paddock Hill, and looks like he has got the move done there as they go up the hill towards Druids. Donati trying to go the long way around the outside, and DB Kung in the background there trying to take advantage of Donati being slightly out of position. So that has caused this 3rd, 4th and 5th just to drop off the leaders a little bit, and actually it looks like Bazert, in all this sort of manoeuvring between positions, has eased his way away from Chicken Paxo a little bit there. But now it looks like DB Kung is looking quite racy on the back of Donati. So Donati doesn't seem to have the pace there in race 2 at the moment. Oh, and I don't know if there's a little touch there. Donati has gone wide there. And he's gone wide again as they've gone into Westfield. He's out on there on the gravel. And DB Kung is through to 4th, and Donati's down to 5th. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact there as they went into Hawthorns, as DB Kung possibly gave Donati just a little bit of a helping hand, shall we say. But I'm sure the stewards will look at that if required. Now DB Kung taking all the track and a little bit more, taking one of the track marker poles out there. So can Donati come back? He's down to 5th. So round Paddock Hill they go, back up the hill towards Druids. Let's have a quick look down, see what other action we've got. Well, we've got a bit of action here. Banff, who we know was out of position, he was down in 8th and hasn't really gone forward from that position because Rusty GT was the one that had moved forward. Sorry, had gone back to move everyone else forward one. And Rusty GT actually, oh hello, this is quite lively. He's down the inside there of Photo Pig, I think. Although Photo Pig is in front of him still. Sorry, they're all still in that same position. So Photo Pig defending in the blue Mercedes there. But Rusty is trying to get by. He's having a look as they go out towards Hawthorn. But nothing doing there at the moment. And actually behind him, Marge is looking quite racy in the Ferrari there. So looks like Rusty GT is being attacked from in front and behind, because I think, oh, and looked like Photo Pig was very, very sideways there, and he goes defensive on the entry to Sterling, so that will compromise his exit, and that possibly means Rusty GT will get a good run down to Clearways, or possibly compromise his Clearways speed to get a good run into Paddock Hill. So actually in the middle of that we lost Marge, so we don't know what happened to Marge there. Marge made some kind of mistake. I'd imagine that was between Sheen and Sterling's, and he's dropped down to last place now. So Chris V Dub up to 11th, Randy Flangepants up to 12. We'll go back to that battle that I've now lost, which was Photo Pig being chased down by Rusty GT. So Photo Pig doing a good job there of holding Rusty off. Now Rusty, remember, was up towards the front there in the last race, and he's having another good look at that Mercedes. He's dived out the inside as they drop down Dingle Dale. Can he get down the inside into Hawthorn? It looks like he's got it done there side by side as they go through, and Photo Pig has to give way in the end, but it looks like he's going to come back at Westfield. No, he can't quite do it. So that looks like Rusty is through. So that's Rusty up to 9th and Photo Pig down to 10th. So let's hop back up for the action at the front. So Anun is, as we know, up to 3rd, DB Kung 4th, and Donati is dropping away from these two in 5th. So I don't know if Donati's got a bit of a problem there, but he doesn't seem to have the pace that I would normally expect him to see from him. Oh, and that was DB Kung getting very sideways there, coming out of Paddock Hill bend in the blue Ferrari, but a bit of Tokyo drift, but he kept it under control. Where else have we got a bit of a battle? We've got Banff on the back here of Dazza. This is the battle for 6th and 7th, so Dazza in the black Audi, and Dazza looked like made a bit of a mistake, and also Banff made a big one as well, so he's trying to go around the outside at Surtees, which I don't realistically see that happening, but he looks like he's just going for the cutback on the exit, and he's right under the rear wing of that Audi in front of him, but I don't think he's close enough to do anything, which he, at the moment, he isn't. So who else is close to who? I'm going to scan my eyes frantically up and down and talk the close. Let's look at the leaders, because Chicken Paxo, having seemed to be dropping away from the back of Bazets, is now winding him in. Now, whether he's been saving his tyres, because we're not even at race distance yet, but Chicken Paxo is definitely got Bazets in his crosshairs, and talking the crosshairs, it looks like DB Kung is after that podium. So Anun's going very defensive in the Lexus as they go down pit straight to keep DB Kung away, but the Lexus goes wide on the exit, and DB Kung and the blue Ferraris up the inside. Little bit of a love tap there on the rear corner, and that's brought Donardi back into play for this 3rd, 4th and 5th battle. So that's DB Kung up to 3rd, and then Anun in the Lexus there is dropped to 4th, and at the back of that pack is Donardi in the green Audi. So Donardi now finding some pace as we head towards half race distance. So great to see everybody still keeping fairly much together as a pack. Oh, actually it looked like Anun was going very defensive there against Donardi into Hawthorn, and then DB Kung was getting it all on the gravel at the exit of Hawthorn, and that slowed him up. So this is really concertinaed this little pack of cars together. So I don't think any of these have given up on hoping that they are going to get their feet on that 3rd step of the podium, just up the front, after having that little bit of a wind-in of Bazix and getting the gap down to under half a second. Chicken Paxo has now eased back out to nearly a second.
Keep pushing.
We've just tipped over the halfway mark of the race, so that's 7 laps. We've probably got another 7 laps to go, we think, depending of course on the pace of the leaders. Now DB Kung is starting to get a little bit of a gap there on Anun. Donardi is right back on the case there now. Just whizzing my eyes down the tree, and the gap I see is Chicken Paxo, having been over a second or nearly a second away, was down to 0.1, but he's now dropped back to 0.7, so they obviously had a bit of a concertina effect there. So we will stick with this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, because at the moment this is where I see the action coming. I think there may be a few others that will close up as time goes on. Looks like Chris V Dub has had a little bit of an adventure, because he's dropped to the back of the pack. He was up at about 11th, I think, where his teammate Randy Flangepants is. So Donardi really on the limit there through Sheen, got it absolutely sideways. So it's very much ebb and flowing between these three. So smallest mistake by any of them, and the order for 3rd, 4th and 5th I think could change extremely quickly. So let's run our eyes down the totem pole. I'm not seeing anybody. Nobody's too far apart from anybody, but this is definitely the battle where I think things are likely to happen. Oh, and that looked like Anun getting a little bit sideways there out of the hairpin of Druids, and that's brought Donardi right onto his back bumper. And we'll see, we've got a little bit of chat coming in, and I will have a look at that in a minute. I've had a couple of instances of looking away, reading the chat out and looking back at the screen, and it was really a full Murray Walker moment that I'm looking at one thing and there's all action happening on the screen. So while these cars are too close, I won't overly risk it. And again, it looks like we'll just dive away for this a sec, because the cameraman at the front is showing that Chicken Paxo is not that far behind Bazek, but whether he can do anything about it, of course, that is another matter entirely. I've just lost my laugh chat. Oh, Stuart Packer has mentioned that Banff has got Dazza. Yes, he has. Did I see that one? I can't. I lose track. There's all so much going on so quick. So we will hop back to that battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, because it looks like DB Kung, after a couple of clean laps, has pulled a reasonable gap on Anun and Donardi. Now, not having to concentrate on these mirrors all the time really means he can sort of focus and get in that groove and get some quicker laps in, whereas Anun has still got the problem of Donardi right behind him, and coming in the background, Stuart Packham would be pleased, is Banff in the gold Ferrari. So while Anun is possibly maybe holding up Donardi very slightly, Banff is taking advantage and working his way in. So, anyone else getting close? Rusty GT close en route here. So Rusty GT making his way back and has got the move done around the outside there as he goes into Westfield. So that was Rusty GT up to 8th and Group down to 9th. So let's move back before we miss any action, because it's going to be Donardi on Anun. Nun was saying in the break between race 1, oh, and Nun's gone deep. Has that given Donardi the opportunity? He's going to come in on the brakes there, and Nun's gone slightly deep. He could see Donardi coming, but he's managed to hold him off. And Anun is using all of the track and a bit more, so I think he is really under pressure there from Donardi. And talk about pressure, here comes Banff. So this battle for 4th is now becoming a 3-way battle, and Banff has worked his way, I think, through from 8th place. He's now up to 6th, and he'll be eyeing a 4th place finish here. So as they plummet down Pilgrim's Drop up towards Hawthorns, it is really 4, 5 and 6 all together in a heartbeat. Bazet is still pulling a little bit out on Chicken Paxo up the front. He's got about a second on him now, so that has settled out at the front a little bit. We've got just on 4.5 minutes to go. So yes, that is going to be 3 laps, because the leaders are coming up towards the line now. So 3 more laps to go. Here we go, down the main straight again. Anun at the front there in the Lexus. Donardi in the green Audi in the middle. And then at the back is Banff in the Ferrari. So we've got 3 different mates, 3 different drivers. Which way is it going to go? They've just got 3 laps to decide this. Now, Banff's arriving at this party a little bit late, so he may be the one that's going to take the quick lunge and hopefully take the others by surprise. Nun getting a little bit of a gap there on Donardi, a bit more than I think he's had for a couple of laps. So I think Stuart Packham will be out there getting excited as his friend Banff is lining up to take a punt at the 4th place. So Stuart's in the chat, which we all would love for you to get involved with. Come and say what you think. I can see several people out there watching, so it'd be great if you could hop in and tell us what you think, whether it be good or bad. But Stuart was complimenting how Donardi managed to avoid the incident there at Druids with Anun. Sort of less experienced drivers may have lunged it and done a sort of hit and hope. So we go into Paddock Hill, 2 to go. Battle up in the lead is still around about 0.8 of a second, so that one at the moment I think is settled in Bazek's favour unless he makes a mistake. Just looking down the list, we've got Photo Pig. Just making sure no one's doing a lungy manoeuvre there at Surtees. No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like Photo Pig is on the back, or well, within a second of Groot, but hasn't. I think that gap's been similar for a few laps, so it hasn't really closed up. But I will keep an eye on it just in case. Oh, hello. Was that squealy tyres there? Well, that is Banff all over the back of Donardi. So, oh, and he goes to the inside at Sterling's, and they've come together as they. Oh, we're out of camera shot there. Oh, this is painful for me to watch. It looks like Donardi has stopped, and I think Banff may have done as well, unfortunately, because. Oh, and they've got going again. And what's happened there is Banff has stopped and waited for Donardi because it was his lunge down the inside there that caused Donardi to spin. So Banff did exactly the right thing and waited for the other driver to recover, so he didn't gain an advantage from that position. But as they cross the line now, Donardi is down in 7th and Banff is in 8th. So this has given Nunn a bit of a clear run, but the one who was the big winner out of this was Dazza and Rusty GT, because they've been promoted to 5th and 6th. So Dazza on his debut drive, I'm sure will be probably quite chuffed for that. So I wonder whether I was thinking those drivers the other way around, but they weren't. But and that is Donardi losing it all on his own there, and it looked like another driver possibly went wide there as well. So Donardi lost the back end of the Audi going into Surtees. So that has promoted Banff up to 7th when we catch up, which will be just round this corner. So Banff is up to 7th, Groot up to 8th, Photo Pig to 9th, and Donardi's dropped to 10th. So I would guess this is going to be the race that
Leaders on final lap.
Donardi drops. Oh, and actually there is one more lap. The pace must be slightly quicker than the last one, and we're going to get an extra lap here, ladies and gentlemen, because it looked like Bazek's crossed the line with about a second to go, and of course he couldn't back off because Chicken Paxo was right behind him. Now, the other factor that might come in, it depends how tight some of these drivers have cut their fuel supply, because if they've placed it on 14 laps, they're in for a surprise because they've got to go another lap. So it's not unheard of for us to see drivers having to pull over due to running out of fuel. So I'm just trying to see where we've got action, and I was just looking at Photo Pig, who was previously only half a second behind Groot, but something has possibly happened to Groot. Let's see as they cross the timing mark, which is just here. Photo Pig has dropped away from the back of Groot, so I think we are settling out here. So we will hop on with our leader, who has still got Chicken Paxo in close company, but Bazek's didn't really shine his light too much in the first race, but in this second one he's definitely done it. So Bazek's takes the win. Chicken Paxo there in second, kept him honest all the way to the line. DB Kung with a great drive there, moved his way up and took advantage of others' mistakes. And Nunn with a great fourth there for the Lexus. And Dazza coming in 5th place. Rusty GT just behind him in 6th. Banff has recovered to 7th, and he's got Groot right behind him as they go to the finishing line. And then we've got Photo Pig coming through in the Mercedes, and then in the Audi, haven't had a torturous last couple of laps. Donardi comes through in 10th place, and then not far behind him at all is Randy Flangepants. He's come across in 11th. Chris V Dub is in 12th, and then just coming round the final corner of Clearways is Marge in the last Ferrari. So that was all fairly frantic again, wasn't it? Oh, I'm a bit breathless. I'm going to have to get myself a drink, so if you bear with me a second. See what people are saying. Well, Stuart Packham's going to leave us, but thank you for your input. It's always appreciated. I will get you on comms one day. You might have to bleep a few things, but I will try and lead you away from that kind of behaviour. So if you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to get myself a drink, because as you can hear, I'm going gradually croakier and croakier, and I will be back with you shortly for our final race, which is another 20-minute race with a 7-minute qualifier, and that will be off in a few seconds time. Hello, and we're back. I'm refreshed, rehydrated, and ready for race 3. So we've got a few lap times in already. We've only got 3 minutes to go, and we're already sub 125 there with DB Kung, who had that great result in race 2, and is obviously now getting his eye in. Oh, somebody going wide there in the background. So the ones who will be wanting to improve their qualifying, probably Donardi, who we know someone who's generally got good pace, but doesn't seem to be able to get the qualifying laps in. And who else had Banff had to work his way through as well last time. So Bazek's down to a 1:24.6. So here comes Chris V Dub. He's there in 6th at the moment. What else have we got? Let's have a quick look. Let's just move around. Chicken Paxo. Right, now this is someone we expect to get fairly well. Oh, Banff put a much better time this time round. He's up to 3rd, but Chicken Paxo, I think, oh, Donardi up to 2nd. So Donardi definitely starting to find pace. He's in the 1:24s. And Chicken Paxo, oh, must have gone outside track limit. So he's yet to put a lap in. So unless he gets one in soon, he's really got, what should we say, 2 more chances. He's got to keep it between the lines. So at the moment, Bazek's could be on for 2 out of 3 there. He's on the regional pole, but Donardi, which is Chicken Paxo's teammate, is alongside him. So very much in the order we expect. Dazza seems to be welded to 7th place, I've noticed. So Rusty GT, good performance there in 6th. Good performance well there, Randy Flangepants. He's up there in 8th at the moment. So who else are we expecting? Some group we would expect to be further up. Doesn't look like Marge is putting a lap in for some reason. Not sure why. Can't see if I can see anything in the chat. So here we go. This is Chicken Paxo's last but one attempt. He will get another lap after he crosses the line. Is he going to pay? Currently 11th. He is now in pole. 1:24.0. Oh, he obviously put everything into that because he's gone wide at the entry to Paddock Hill Bend. So that's it for him. So because he won't get around to start another lap, so he's got to return to the pits. So fantastic lap there. I thought we might even be talking about seeing the 1:23. But so Donardi's returned to the pits, so he's done all he can. Bazek's is still out there. He's coming down towards the line. Now, can he snatch his pole position back? He's into clearways. Nice sight to the inside curb there. On the throttle, taking the shortest possible path to the finishing line there. Oh, 6/100th of a second off. Couldn't quite make it. That means he's going to be on the outside of turn 1. So time is out. So who else is out there? Rusty GT. Oh, and that looks like Banff, who's currently down in 7th. So he needs to probably put in a better time here. He's coming up to the line. He's the second off pole at the moment. That's put him up to 4th. So it's the Audi team and Ferrari team up there filling the top 4 places. DB Kung, he's coming up to the finishing line. Can he do anything about it? We know he's got pace. 3rd in race 2. No, he's staying there in 6th. Dazza lost out on his regular 7th place. He's coming up to the final corner and needs to find half a second to get an undo. So I think that could be a big ask, but not impossible. No, he stayed 7th, so that's it. So that is our final qualifying of the evening. Drivers will be working their way back to the pits Just trying to see if we've got anything in the chat that will tell us what's going on. Well, Marge is complaining about his setup, and understanding that it was quite intense, which I think it was a fair assessment of that race 2. Hopefully we're going to have more of that in race 3. Like a nun doing something slightly strange there at the bottom of your screen in the Lexus. So generally these races are off fairly quick. What I will say, while we've got a little bit of a lull, is that we are lucky to have a great sponsor for season 6 here at Race Club, and that is Lovely Stickers. You can look them up. Probably your best place is on Facebook to find more information about them. They provide decals for steering wheels, all the sort of popular makes like the Fanatec's and the Logitech and so on. They'll provide decals for those, and they are providing those as prizes for the top 3 drivers in this championship. So we are really chuffed to have them on board. So please do us a great favour, if you're on Facebook, go and give them a look. Lovely Stickers is the name. Lovely Stickers by name, Lovely Stickers by nature. And go along and give them a like for us. That would be really appreciated. And the other thing is, as you can see, we've got a pretty full grid here. A couple of drivers couldn't make it tonight, but we've got space, I believe, for 18 drivers. So if you want to get involved and get yourself on the grid like Dazza has this week, go to Facebook, look up Race Club, join the group, say you're interested, get chatting with the guys and gals there, and everyone will be really helpful towards you, and you can get yourself on the grid. As you can see by the way the lights are shining, we are in the evening, so temperatures will be dropping,
10 seconds.
so grip levels will be different, and it looks like we've lost a driver, and I'm just trying to see who it is, because we had 14, then we had 13. Groot has gone, he's starting from the pit lane, so it looks like he's turned up late. I'm just trying to work out who we lost. A nun for, oh, a nun must have disconnected, unfortunately. So he's going to have to start, I think, from the pit lane. So there's 2 drivers there that are going to have to work their way back up the field. Yep, that's the nun. He's only got kicked off the server, so he's going to have to start from the pit lane. Groot's starting from the pit lane, so we've got a little bit of a different battle there, and obviously they won't have had a lap to warm their tyres up either, so that's going to produce a differing factor to it as well. So Chicken Packs are on pole this time, so can he hang on to it again? He did in race 1, but in race 2 he was stuck behind Bazix and couldn't do anything about it. And the other question we need to know the answer to, and we'll find out, is can their teammates do anything about it? Because as you can see, we've got 2 gold Ferraris and 2 lime green Audis, so it's going to get lively up the front. And then of course we've got 2 more teammates. We've got the Ferraris of Rusty and DB Kung, and they, of course, we know DB Kung from race 2 was pretty competitive. So they're almost going 2 by 2. It's like a Noah's Ark race, because the 2 Porsches are side by side with Chris V Dub and Randy Flangepants, who's qualified up there in 9th. So they're together as well, so it does seem to be all the teammates are working in pairs on this final race. So here we go, round Stirlings to head up towards Clearways. Drivers will start to get in side by side. So we've had 2 crackers. Let's hope we're going to have another one here for our final race tonight at Race Club. I've got a funny feeling this is going to be a good one. Let's hope I'm right. So around the last corner, as you look at your screen, it's the Audi of Chicken Paxo on the left. It's the Gold Ferrari of Bazix on your screen now, but Bazix has got the outside line for the first corner, which is not ideal. So he'll be hoping to get a little bit of jump on the start on Chicken Paxo. They've got their teammates behind them.
Green light, green light. Go, go,
And
go.
we go. Off we go, off towards Paddock Hill Bend. It looks like Chicken Paxo is slightly in front there, and it looks like Donardi's trying to tuck in behind him as well, and elbow out Chicken Paxo. Elbow out Bazix. I got that wrong, my mistake. So, but Bazix holds off Donardi, and Donardi holds off Banff. So they are in qualifying order as they go round Graham Hill Bend. The 2 pit starters are out and running. It looks, by the looks of it, and none is in front of Groot. So as the timing pole just sorts its life out, we will find out who is where. And it looks like a couple of cars have dropped off the back there, so we have had a little bit of action there by the look of it. I think that's a Nunn. A Nunn has already got by Randy Flange-Pants and Groot, so I think Flange-Pants and Groot were together, so maybe they had contact. So Chicken Paxo is trying to scamper away as quick as possible, but again, the one that looks like he's under a bit of pressure is Donardi, because he's got Banff right on his back bumper again. But also, driver we know was quick from the first time round was DB Kung, and that Ferrari does seem to be quite quick in his hand. So he got it up onto the podium in the first race. So, and he's dragging along Rusty GT behind him as well by the look of it. So this is all going to be very tight up the front. In fact, the whole pack down to, I think it is Marge in 9th, is all pretty close. So Nunn already starting to make his way back through the field. He's up to 11th, so I'm going to keep an eye on that, because I imagine he is going to be quite speedy to come through the field. So just trying to see who's doing what down in the middle of the pack. Doesn't seem to be anything too close at the moment, so we will just stick with this leading battle at the moment. Does look like Bazix, you can see there, that he's getting very close on the back of the leader of Chicken Paxo, and the same with Banff on the back of Donardi for 3rd place. So let's pop forward to Bazix, see if he can do anything about the lead. Oh, and he looks like he's gone a bit deep there into Sterling's, but he's managed to gather it all up on the exit. Looks like he's carrying a bit more speed at the moment. I'll be wondering if whether Donardi in the green Audi in 3rd there will be able to catch up to the leaders as they start to battle and compromise each other's line. So these 4 do seem to be pulling away from the rest of the field at the moment. So into Druid's hairpin. If I start to talk about something else, it'll guarantee action, but just looking at the hairpin there, there's a chat we had earlier. Oh, hello, that looked like Donardi got it all wrong, and he got it sideways, but he managed to scoop it up. As I said, if I start waffling on about stories, it always seems to generate actions, but Donardi did a fantastic job of scooping that up. I thought that was on a one-way trip towards the barrier, but he got away with it, so great bit of car control there by Donardi. But as I say, if you want to see something exciting, if you and I don't normally mention this as being NASCAR, but there's an incredible last lap manoeuvre by a driver called Ross Chastain, who did a manoeuvre that he said he learned on NASCAR 2005 on the GameCube, which was basically to rattle his car around the wall of the final turn. Think Cold Trickle in Days of Thunder, and it actually worked. And he jumped from, I think he jumped 4 spaces. You need to look it up on YouTube. Absolutely incredible. He'd not told anybody in his team he was going to try it, and if the circumstances made it necessary, but he tried it, and it just looked like some of the fast forward of the car around the wall, and seeing those cars go around Druid's hairpin made me think of that manoeuvre. But if you want to see something incredible, I'd look that up. It was absolutely amazing. Oh, and Randy Flanchpants has dropped to the pit, so I'd imagine he must have picked up some damage. So that is going to be quite costly for him. So this leading pack of 4, well, it's starting to become a leading pack of 5 really, or maybe 6, because you've got the 2 Ferraris hanging on in the background there. There's then a gap back to Chris V Dub, who's sort of come up well through the field. He's up there to 7th, and he's holding off Dazza. But they're still remarkably close, those two. Dazza looks like a great addition to Race Club. He's raced really competitive, and he appears, and this is usually the kiss of death, that he's raced really clean, not come into contact with anybody. So great to see somebody like that joining in with us at Race Club. So we're over quarter race distance already. So let's just hop back up the front and see what is developing. Well, at the moment, not an awful lot, because they're all about half a second between them. DB Kung and Rusty GT a little bit further off the back of this pack, but not sort of dropping away significantly. One that is, I'm just going to hop back to this. Oh, I was saying that Dazza was very close on the back of Chris V Dub, and unfortunately it looks like he's ended up in the gravel, so he's dropped back behind a I think that's behind Photo Pig. So as they come down the marker later on, which is just before Surtees, the next corner they're coming up to, that'll give us an update. Oh, Dazza's down to 11th. Oh, we've lost Randy Flanchpants. He must have retired. I saw him going back to the pit, so he has pulled out. I'll see if we've got anything in the chat from him. No, not at the moment. So we're down to 12 racers. So let's hop back up the front. So everybody is still in the same spot that they were in before. So Chicken Paxo leads, Bazek second, Donardi on centre screen now in third, and then Banff in the other Gold Ferrari in fourth. DB Kung and Rusty GT are dropping off a little bit on the back of this pack, so I don't think they're going to be able to cross swords with these guys up front. But just whizzing back, this is the battle for 9th. This is Chris V Dub there in the Golf coloured Porsche, and Dazza looking to go around the outside of him there. That's Photo Pig trying to go around the outside of him there. Now he's going for the switchback up the hill towards Druids. He's looking to the inside. Can he do it? No, Chris V Dub has got it covered. And then Dazza, he's recovering there in 11th place. So he's right on the back of these two as well. So I'm endeavouring to keep an eye on the leaders as well, but I think this is going to be quite a lively little battle here, down here for 9th, 10th and 11th. And that looked like Dazza was possibly going to take a dive up the inside there, but decided against it. So down Pilgrim's Drop. They go for the 5th time. So Photo Pig looking quite racy on the back there, Chris V Dub, but it does look like Photo Pig's had a few adventures and there's a bit of rough and tumble around that Mercedes. And there's Dazza coming with oh, Dazza just seemed to get really close to Photo Pig there on braking, but managed to get it stopped. Here they go, really tight to each other as they go down towards Clearways. Looks like Chris V Dub just coming under a bit more pressure there from Photo Pig. Dazza's there ready just to pick the bits up. So as they cross the line, 6 laps in the book, it looks like Photo Pig going down the inside as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. Can he get it to the apex? Yes, he can. Fantastic bit of driving there. Going a little bit defensive, he goes up the hill towards Druids, but Photo Pig has got the job done. He's up to 9th. No, he hasn't got the job done. Chris V-Dub was going to the inside and collided with him, and Chris V-Dub spun out. So I think that was more of a racing incident than anything else. So Chris V-Dub is recovering. He's down in 11th now, unfortunately. But that puts Photo Pig back to 9th. But now he's got Dazza on his rear bumper now rather than Chris VW. Just trying to keep an eye on what's happening up the front, and everybody still seems line astern at the moment. We're just clicking down to half race distance. So Photo Pig there using an awful lot of curb there through Westfield.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
It looks like Dazza is the car with more speed out of these two, but as I've already mentioned a couple of times tonight, sorry, I was trying to do two things at once there. I was reading a chat and talking to myself. As I've already mentioned a couple of times tonight, this is a very difficult track to overtake on, due to its layout and style of corners. So it does look like Photo Pig is possibly starting to get... Oh, I was going, he was starting to get a little bit away from Dazza there, but Dazza's come right back at him again. The battle for the lead seems to be breaking up into, rather than being a pack of 4 at the front there, it seems to be 2 twos at the moment. So Donardi is dropping a little way off the back of Bazak. So we will hop back to that because this is getting quite tight up the front there. So that's Chicken Paxo and Bazak's there. Bazak's just on your screen there in the gold Ferrari, and then you've got just appearing in the background there, actually there is Donardi in that green Audi and another gold Ferrari. Now you're not seeing double, it's just that first and second look very similar to third and fourth. So obviously at the front of the field we have got the fastest drivers, and they're the ones that tend to make the least mistakes, so that's making the job difficult for those behind, because obviously they are less likely to make a mistake, so you've got to do it on merit, so to speak. Oh, Virus GR, great to have you on board. Hope you've pressed those great subscribe and like buttons. And he wants to see G Marge, so I'm always one to make my customers happy, and there goes Marge. Now the only reason I haven't haven't featured Marge is that he's a little bit in no man's land at the moment. He's off that battle of 6 cars right up the front, and he's 3.5 seconds in front of Anun, so he's a little bit in no man's land, so he's not getting great action either side, but he's going there for a solid 7th place. He was saying that unfortunately he hadn't really got a setup in that Ferrari that suited this Brands Hatch circuit. So after his stunning performance last week at Bathurst, he just wasn't getting the performance that he hoped for this week. So, but that's why we use such a variety of tracks here on Race Club, is to give everybody a chance, because if you get that variance between all the different tracks, it means you've got a good chance of, you know, some drivers doing well on certain circuits and vice versa with others. So I am going to hop away from Marge. I apologise, Virus, but we've got action going on elsewhere, because DB Kung seems to be making inroads into Banff when the cameraman catches up. So those 2 Ferraris, which earlier on were dropping away from Banff in 4th, are actually starting to catch back up now. I'm just looking further down to see who else we've got. It's close at the moment. Dazza still close on Groot. Chris V-Dub has returned to the pits. He possibly retired. He did have that coming together out of Druids. So let's have a quick look up at the front, because we're coming up to 3/4 race distance. It looks like Bazix is turning the wick up in that Gold Ferrari there in second place, and he's trying to put some heat onto that green Audi of Chicken Paxo in front of him. So these two have got to win a piece tonight. So who's going to come out on top? Who's going to win the decider? Let us know what you think in the chat. It'd be great to hear from you. So here we go, heading out towards the back part of the circuit, down Pilgrim's Drop, fastest point of the circuit as they turn in here into Hawthorne. It's just where can Bazix get an opportunity? To be honest, really, unless Chicken Paxo make a mistake on sheer performance, those two cars are so even, I don't see how you'll get an easy chance to overtake. This is not like Formula 1. There's no DRS or assistance like that. So he's just got to try and push Chicken Paxo to the point where he's going to make a mistake, because otherwise I don't see a way that he's going to get by. So 11 laps in the book. There might be another 3, there might be another 4, just depends how the pace has been working. Oh, and that was Bazix looking, and that's caused Chicken Paxo to compromise his line into the corner. So that will slow him up, and what this will do, in the background you can see the green Audi of Donardi in third place, and that will get him just that little bit closer as these two are fighting and compromising their line. It will concertina this lead pack up, which down to Rusty GT is still only 6-7 seconds front to back. Just shows here at Race Club how competitive the racing is. Was the song going wide there at the background? No, I don't think there was. So Bazix still working really hard on the back of Chicken Paxo there, but this was all down to qualifying. The one who qualified on pole seems to be the race winner. So if you can get out in front, because of the difficulty with overtaking, you give yourself such an advantage. You get into Paddock Hill first on the first lap, because everyone else has got the hard work to do. So I'm going to pop back to DB Kung, because he is getting quite close to Banff. He has been creeping back up, and you know he's quick because he had that podium in race 2. So I'm just going to hop back to Dazza, who is on the back of Groot. Now we know Dazza had quite good pace early on, but looking at the left-hand side of that Audi, it has had a little bit of an adventure somewhere, possibly down the barrier, which is maybe compromising its speed a little bit, which is why he's not able to catch Groot in front of him. So he definitely doesn't seem to be getting any closer too rapidly. So I will leave these two and hop back to this battle at the front, because this battle at the front seems to be now a battle for a battle of 5 cars. The main gap being between Bazix in second and Donardi, driver on your screen, in third. But that gap is only 1.8 of a second. As they cross the line, I think that may be even less. It's now 1.1. So the top 5 are in 5 seconds. Where on earth do you get that? You certainly don't get it in things like Formula 1. So just shows the competitive level we've got here at Race Club. So can Chicken Paxo hang on? Can Bazix find a way by? Can Donardi hold off Banff? And is DB Kung the coming man? So we have probably got 2 laps left. I didn't check the time as they crossed the line, so but look at that, DB Kung right on the back of Banff there, with one, possibly two, or one half, possibly 2 laps to go. Rusty GT has dropped away a bit there. He's about 2.2 off the back of his teammate, so I think that's probably it for his challenge up at the front. Oh, we've lost another driver. We're down to 11. Who? Chris VW, unfortunately, we've lost. Must have had to flick his tacho on his truck back to work mode. So, here we go, into clearways now for the last time, because they are going to get another lap as they head towards the line now. Click another one off.
Right, man.
6 seconds to go. So, yep, this is it. So, look at this, 3rd, 4th and 5th right together. I think, unless Chicken Paxo makes a mistake, he's got this one in the bag, but as the last race was, I think the battle is on for that last step of the podium. So here we go, down the Graham Hill, hard on the brakes, 2nd gear, left that corner, run it wide across the curb and then slam your foot on the throttle down to Surtees. Now this is critical, got to get that right line in to get your best exit speed. Late apex I always find the best. Now it looks like Bam has slightly shaken off how close DB Kung was, but he does also seem to have crept up a little bit on the back of Donardi, so he's only really got 3 more corners to make something happen here. So the possibility of a lunge at Sterling's or do something incredible at Clearways. So I can't see how they can do anything. So here we go, 1 more corner to go. We're heading down towards Clearways for the final time, and it looks like it is fairly much line astern, so we'll hop with our leaders. So this is going to be quick fire as they go across the line. So Chicken Paxo in 1st place, Bazak 2nd, Donardi 3rd, Banff in 4th, and then DB Kung in 5th, Rusty GT in 6th. How quick was that? And then we've got Marge, who is in 7th, so that will impress Virus. Still very much out on his own, but still coming home with solid points there in 7th place, so that's not to be sniffed at all. And then we've got a Nun, he's there in 8th, so I imagine he might be a little bit disappointed with that, but then he dropped the worst score. So here we go, Groot and Dazza still got this battle going on. So Groot still got the upper hand here as we go towards the finishing line, but is Dazza going to have one more go? No, they cross the finishing line together. So that's Groot 9th and Dazza there in 10th. And finally coming around the clearways is Photo Pig in 11th. And of course we had the retirements of Chris VW, and Randy Flangepants. And Crumbo Zoe was a non-starter because of mechanical failure on her rig. So there we go, that's the last race of tonight from round 3 of Race Club Season 6, sponsored by Lovely Stickers. Have we not had some fantastic racing tonight? It has been absolutely brilliant, hasn't it? So it just shows you how good it is. We're back again next Tuesday. Off the top of my head, I think it is another 3 by 20-minute race, which means I'll need to get more fluids into me, so otherwise I'll lose my voice. So please, click on the like, the subscribe, and then you'll get the reminders that we're online, and we'd love to see you there. Love to hear you get involved, and we will see you hopefully next week. Take care everyone, and have a safe week.